Hey love, thank you so much for joining me on New Wine. For those of you who are new here to New Wine, this is a space where I can pray for you and encourage you and also talk to you a little bit about some of the things I'm learning so that they can help you as you grow and mature on your own journey. Now, today what I want to talk to you about is something that popped up in my prayer time a little while ago, but I remembered it recently. And basically, I sensed the question, why is your heart so anxious? And it was very clear to me, that question, because it was a really quiet moment. I didn't really have an answer, but even before I could think of one, I got a clear image in my head of that verse from Psalm 23 that says, He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies. And immediately after that, I got an image of me sharing out my husband's and my son's food, which is what I normally do. Y'all don't judge me. I do share out their food still. I spoil them a little bit because they deserve spoiling. They are good men. But also, I guess I'm a little old-fashioned. But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. So let's move on. So I got that image and I thought about it. It seemed like such a strange image, me sharing out these guys' food. And immediately the question that hit me was, do you make them eat? And I said, no, I've never forced them to eat. Well, certainly not my son since he's been a toddler. But what came out of that is that God does the same thing for us. He prepares the table before us. He doesn't force us to eat. And this is what dropped into my spirit and it blessed me. And I want to share it with you because I think some of you will be blessed as well. You are fretting up yourself because you are doing the most for the people around you. Whether those people are people in your family or on your job or your friends or your circle or whomever, whether you're involved in community service or anything like that, you're doing the most for the people around you. You have been sacrificing and giving, and you've been so upset and so frustrated because the response that you get back is so far beneath what you deserve. It is so far beneath the level that you give out, and you are looking for people to respond to you in a way that is commensurate with what you give out to them. And this is what I want to tell you, child of God. People's responses are not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to do what God gave you to do, to share out the food, so to speak. That is your responsibility. You cannot force people to respond to you the way that you want them to. You cannot force people to be grateful. You cannot force people to be appreciative of the sacrifices that you have made. And so what I want to tell you is what the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me, and I cannot tell you how it blessed me and how it set me free in that moment. And I wish for you that same freedom. And so I'm sharing this with you. Child of God, do what God called you to do, whether in your home or on your job or in your groups or your organizations or your church or wherever you are serving. Serve to the best of your ability. Do the thing that God gave you to do, that thing that when you do it, nobody else can do it like you. That thing that He put you here on the earth to accomplish for His glory, because that's what you're doing it for. And this is what the scripture tells us in Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. It says that you work unto the Lord and not as unto men. And that is what I want to encourage you to do. There is a reward coming for you. It does pay off in the end. It may not pay off, or you may not get the reward from the places that you are seeking to get it from. And so all these things that you put out in one place and you expect to reap from the places where you have sown, child of God, don't limit God like that. He's not limited to that one person or to that one job or to that one space that you have been pouring out yourself in order to give you the reward, in order to reap the harvest for you. God is unlimited, and He is going to reward you, and He's going to repay you in ways that your eye has not seen and your ear has not heard and you have not imagined. Those things have not entered into your heart, as the scripture says. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to stop waiting on people and to stop frustrating yourself because so-and-so isn't grateful and you've given everything to them, and such a person isn't appreciative after all all that you would have done, and you would have bent over backwards for X, Y, and Z, and nothing. And child of God, you continue to do what God asked you to do. Be the best mother that you can. Be the best worker that you can. Be the best at your service, whatever that service is. Be the best that you can be in the space where the Lord put you to shine, and trust Him to bring the rewards that He has for you. Other people's responses are not your responsibility. I pray that that blesses you, and I pray that it frees you like it did for me. I pray that your heart can go forward free to know that God sees you where you are. He sees your service. He sees the kind of parent that you have been. He sees the kind of father, the kind of mother that you have been to those children. And His blessing is not dependent on how your children respond to you. His blessing will never depend on whether they appreciate you at the place where you work or not. His blessings can never be hooked up on what other people's responses are. Continue to trust God, child of God, and continue to watch for what He is going to do to repay you. Just before I go, I want to leave you with a passage of scripture. It's from Galatians chapter 1, verse 10, and I'm reading from the New International Version. And it says, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." Have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining me on New Wine. God bless you. Bye-bye.